disqualification. But can he truly be the glue for a united front? All these questions are focused on News Epicenter tonight.
जितनी भी पार्टियां हमारे साथ चलेंगी उनको हम सबको एक साथ लेकर जो देश में आइडियोलॉजिकल लड़ाई चल रही है, विचारधारा की लड़ाई चल रही है, उसको लड़ेंगे।
एक होकर आगे जो चुनाव आएंगे उस चुनाव में एकजुट दिखाकर लड़ेंगे।
एक साथ हम लोग आगे का काम करेंगे, मिल करके चलेंगे, ये बात तय हो गई है। और जितने लोग एग्री करेंगे तो सब लोगों को फिर हम लोग बैठ करके आपस में आगे का निर्णय तय करेंगे।
Modi versus who in 2024? This question has haunted the critics and the opposition alike. Joining us on the broadcast is Shehzad Poonawala, the BJP national spokesperson. Advocate Mahima Singh from the Congress party is with us on the broadcast. Professor Manojit Mandal from the TMC is with us. Professor Chitranjan Gagan, the RJD spokesperson, is also with us on the show. We expect the Aam Aadmi party to be with us in just a few minutes from now. Shehzad, the opening arguments from you. The opposition is very hopeful that they'll be able to stitch together a grand alliance. Multiple issues, especially one of corruption, Adani issue, the disqualification of Rahul Gandhi. We have seen unprecedented unity from the opposition ranks. Is the BJP worried?
I'll start by a couplet. कोई मेरे सुंदर सपनों को हकीकत से ना जोड़ो, इस शीशे आईने के पत्थर से ना तोड़ो. So I think that is enough said about this so-called opposition unity. In theory it sounds good, but in practicality what does it result in? Look, it's so ironical that those who need to first do unity in their own party in Rajasthan, in Maharashtra you can see Thorat versus Nana Patole, or in Chhattisgarh Deo versus Baghel and other places are trying for national unity of opposition parties, and those who've been reduced to the margins of irrelevance in their own state, namely Nitish Kumar, he is now the number 3 party in the state of Bihar, is trying to gain prominence in the national scene. And what is their common agenda? Nothing. They want to oppose mission and vision of Prime Minister Modi with what? With unity on commission, unity on corruption, unity on agenda for division and ambition for position. There's nothing common between them. For instance, what is the common position that Uddhav Sena, Congress Party, RJD, JDU and TMC have on UCC or on 370? Uddhav Sena says yes for 370, all of these other elements say no for 370. So the only agenda is to cover up for corruption, to save their parivar politics, and therefore they are all uniting. But let me give you a couple of examples. They tried this in 2018. Kumaraswamy, all of us, we saw hand to hand was raised. What happened about that? In practicality, nothing. In 2019, Bua and Babua came together. They fought against us. What happened out of that? Nothing happened. The era of coalition politics and politics of convenient coalition, corruption-filled coalition is over. The era of Deva Gowda
Shehzad,
and
you're right that are multiple issues. There are multiple issues. The opposition is not a united lot. We have seen that. It has been a scattered one. But on the Adani issue, on the corruption issues, on multiple issues of inflation, unemployment, which many would argue are the core issues in any democracy. On those fronts, we have seen your unity within the opposition ranks.
Since it is also going to be 1 versus 4 panel, on this Adani issue only let us start. Yeah. TMC's official stand on Adani issue, 17th March 2023, articulated by Derek O'Brien. No need for JPC. We want opposition states must probe the projects given by the so-called opposition state. This is on 17th March 2023. This is the official stand of TMC. Now I want to ask that, is Ms. Mahima Singh ready to order probe in Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh? So far, no. Also on NCP stand on JPC, you have already seen they have said no for JPC, and on Hindenburg report, they have said it is an affair where targeting is being done of an Indian company. Do they agree? Let's forget that stand also. Look at their stand on Savarkar issue. Uddhav ji today has taken a stand on Savarkar. Sharad Pawar ji has taken, but in Rahul Gandhi's welcome entry, they have insulted Savarkar yet again, and therefore today Ajit Pawar just 2 hours ago has given a statement against Nana Patole. This is not Mahavikas Agadi, this is Mahavichitra Agadi, and the Vidambana is that they can't keep Gehlot and Pilot together. First they should find unity between Pilot and Gehlot, then they should aspire for political unity amongst all these disparate elements.
The BJP has a point there. Brand Narendra Modi and the manner in which the coalition politics has failed to match up to the blitzkrieg of the BJP. BJP is an electoral reality in this country. With the multiple differences that exist within the opposition ranks, Mr. Kharge has a very ambitious plan that, opposition parties should come together. But talking about the realpolitik and how things have really panned out, it doesn't look like a plausible scenario. Or are you still hopeful?
Good evening, everyone. And let me just begin by saying, हम अमन चाहते हैं मगर जुल्म के खिलाफ, हम अमन चाहते हैं मगर जुल्म के खिलाफ, गर जंग लाजमी है तो फिर जंग ही सही. Sahir Ludhianvi's timeless words. And let me just say that what the BJP spokesperson was talking about, right? I mean, look at his audacity and the brazen lies that he tells every time he comes on the television, because just because he can hurl some data and some numbers on your viewers doesn't mean that that's going to shun the questions, the very vital questions that face the democracy today, the very democracy which the BJP has successfully reduced to mere an electoral democracy, because the culture of democracy has been successfully murdered by the BJP, because that's what they were here for. You see, day by day, what we see is a propaganda being built up. We are raising questions. The entire opposition. In fact, there's been debates about Mr. Sharad Pawar's statements. And let me just say that even Mr. Sharad Pawar and everybody, Ms. Mamata Banerjee, the Congress, ADU, the RLD, the Aam Aadmi Party, everybody is jointly asking for a joint parliamentary committee to probe into the Adani scam, the historical scam that has, been inflicted upon this country by the BJP.
I will give you a recent example. While the Congress party was making this huge issue about the degree and educational qualifications of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Chanakya, often called the Chanakya within the opposition ranks, Mr. Sharad Pawar, the veteran leader, had an advice that don't make this an issue for the opposition. This is not really an issue. And I can go on and quote multiple examples, but let me bring in some structure to this debate. What I want to understand from you, ma'am, please make your point, but answer this question as well. Is any opposition party today willing to accept the leadership of the Congress party?
Just see, the leadership, who will lead from the front, is a question to be dealt with at a later stage, because we are a federal democracy, we are a quasi-federal democracy, we are a parliamentary democracy, we are not a presidential democracy. And since you have mentioned Mr. Sharad Pawar's remark on the degree issue, let me just very categorically clarify that he has said, किसी की डिग्री एक मुद्दा नहीं बनना चाहिए, but the Congress is raising questions on the lies that the BJP and the Prime Minister have blatantly told this country. We are saying, why lie? Even if you are an uneducated Prime Minister, even though if that was the case, that would be fine, but please be truthful to the country. The countrymen deserve truth from the Prime Minister. We do not deserve such fanciful stories. 10 years ago, you say, I have not studied, I studied in a village school. But 10 years later, you say, I hold a degree in entire political science.
Mahimaji, we can get lost in a dozen issues that have dominated the political discourse in the last 1 year, 2 years, or we can go back in time. I can talk about Rafale, I can talk about the Central Vista, I can talk about what Rahul Gandhi said abroad and the different positions that different parties have taken. But that will not answer the question tangibly. The tangible question that I'm asking you is that there has to be some kind of leadership within the opposition ranks for it to counter the BJP. And that unity is also about leadership. You don't have a clear leadership at this point in time.
As I already said, I'll reiterate, we are a parliamentary democracy. We fight elections on issues, public issues, the very issues which are being undermined today. No debate is allowed in the parliament. You see, it is the treasury benches of the parliament, again, unprecedented that the treasury benches are disrupting completely the business of the parliament. So for the past 3 years, we've been raising issues.
Before I take in a word from the TMC, a quick rebuttal from Shehzad, then I'll go to TMC.
Look, I did not even get into the issue of who will be their prospective leader of this mythical alliance. I am saying what is the issue on which they are coming together. Let us see and examine the unity on that itself. Let me give you one example. By the way, on JPC, Madam Mahimaji, I respect you a lot, but TMC has taken categorical stand, no JPC, state governments must probe. But I'll give you another example. Congress statement, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. TMC has understanding with BJP to escape central agencies from crackdown on corruption. That means two things. One, that it is not committed to the cause of vendetta politics, etc. And two, that it is a corrupt party. And second statement by Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, very interesting. 20th March statement, 2023. PM Modi and Mamata Banerjee have a deal to defame Rahul Gandhi and Congress. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary quoted in Times of India. Now I want both these respected leaders of that parties. Does Mahimaji stand with the statement of Adhir ji? And does TMC accept the statement of
I want to
TMC?
go to TMC. I want to go to Professor Manojit Mandal. We also have Jasmine Shah from the Aam Aadmi Party joining us on the broadcast finally. Professor Manojit Mandal, taking a view from you. The Trinamool Congress has differed with the Congress party on multiple occasions. Shehzad named a few media reports that had come out in the public domain. There are many other instances where the Trinamool Congress has taken a different position. More importantly, TMC is one of the parties within the opposition ranks that does not want to accept the leadership of the Congress party and in fact says, why the Congress, why can't it be TMC and Mamata Banerjee? With those individual ambitions on the table, do you think there can be some kind of a united front?
No, you don't really call it individual ambitions. We are not ambitious to rule India. The TMC, All India Trinamool Congress, believes in the culture of serving to the people. Unlike the present dispensation, which only believes in holding a particular post, winning elections, they call themselves election machines, despite the fact that if you go to the right side of the left side of the India map, starting from Bengal to Kerala, there are 7-8 states where barely in one state they exist. That is in Karnataka, and I'm talking about 220 seats. If you think about the present position of this political party after 29, especially after the elections of 2019, if you think about the parliamentary seats, 220 seats, out of which they are not even winning 20 seats. So we're talking about 200 seats going to the non-BJP parties. That also include Congress. But Congress is also barely existing in these particular states, except in Karnataka.
But sir, that math will hold true if there is some kind of unity and seat sharing agreement on the ground. If political precedents are anything to go by, there are no alliances that have been fought successfully.
I'll tell you what is the alliance and what is the agreement. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
We need to have some kind of consensus to have 1:1 fight in at least 400 seats out of 543.
Okay.
And the game is on. The match is on. What we call in Bangla, khelabe. Forget about the leadership. You are talking about only 1 or 1.5 leadership, Mr. Modi and Mr. Amit Shah. We are talking about a dozen leaders. Yes, we do not have a single leader, but a dozen leaders. There can be differences between political parties. Yes, we do not agree with the functioning of the West Bengal Pradesh Congress Committee. There are differences and we will fight with them. But that doesn't mean that we are not with the opposition. Yes, we do not believe in the culture of entitlement, do not believe in the culture of leadership of one single party. We are all equal partners.
There was a statement that had come from Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary pointing out to some kind of tacit understanding between the TMC and the BJP. Do you agree with that statement?
I'll tell you. Certainly, I mean, people who defeated BJP in 2021,
of course.
Congress surrendered. Aditya Chaudhary surrendered himself to BJP in Murshidabad, the last bastion of the Congress party.
We should ask Congress.
Not a single
Please ask Congress.
seat.
No, that's a good jibe. That's a good jibe you're taking on the Congress party. But unfortunately, you're proving the point of the BJP, aren't you?
Murshidabad, Aditya Chaudhary, it used to be his bastion. The last bastion of Congress in Bengal was
Opposition
Murshidabad,
unity
and
on
he
full
lost
display
all
on
the
Anusha's
seats
show
to
tonight.
BJP. I repeat, he
Opposition
lost
unity
all
is
the
on
seats
display.
to BJP. Opposition unity will remain. One is the
But sir, how will the opposition unity remain if the Congress party is taking jibes at the TMC? Okay, let me bring in other panelists also into the discussion. Professor Chitranjan Gagan from the RJD is also with us on the show. Professor Gagan, taking in a view from you. Veteran leaders met today in the national capital. You had Mr. Nitish Kumar, Tejasvi Yadav, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, Rahul Gandhi was also in attendance. In your political wisdom and experience, do you think that maybe at the state level, at the regional level, it might be wise to forge these kind of alliances? But the sheer umbrella and the diversity that exists within the opposition camp, it makes it impossible to have any kind of national alliance.
देखिए, वही खासियत है बिहार के संघीय प्रजातांत्रिक व्यवस्था में जो खूबी है, यही खूबी है
जी।
और जहां तक सवाल यह है कि फेस और मुद्दा, तो मुद्दा जो है, आप कह रहे हैं कि हम मतभेद है, तो रीजनल पार्टी अगर अलग अलग पार्टियां हैं तो निश्चित रूप से कहीं ना कहीं कुछ विचारों में अंतर है, लेकिन जो मेन मुद्दा है, महंगाई है, बेरोजगारी है, जिस ढंग से ईडी, आईटी, सीबीआई का गलत इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है, विपक्ष के नेताओं को दबाने का प्रयास किया जा रहा है, डेमोक्रेटिक पोजीशन जो है उसमें कहीं ना कहीं उस पर अटैक हो रहा है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल जो इंस्टीट्यूशन है उनके अधिकारों पर हमला हो रहा है। तो ये सारे जो मुद्दे हैं, इन मुद्दे पर सारे दल जो हैं सो एक हैं। और आप बिहार में देख लीजिए, जिस ढंग से बिहार में एक गैर भाजपा दल एक साथ आए और भाजपा मुक्त बिहार बनाने का काम किया, एक मॉडल पेश किया है, और यह मॉडल जो है सो पूरे राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर इस मॉडल को स्थापित करने के लिए हमारे नेता लालू जी, बिहार के मुख्यमंत्री
सर, मेरा आपसे एक सवाल है कि देखिए, जॉइंट प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करने से या साथ में आके बयानबाजी कर देने से किसी तरीके के राजनीतिक विकल्प तो तैयार नहीं होते। राजनीतिक विकल्प तैयार करने के लिए आपको किसी तरीके के गणित पर अग्री करना पड़ेगा, एक सहमति जुटानी पड़ेगी, सीट्स पर एक साथ लड़ना पड़ेगा।
नहीं, आप देख लीजिए परिस्थितियां जो है, परिस्थितियां आप देख लीजिए, पहले भी ऐसा हुआ है, पहले भी कोई पहली बार ऐसी बात नहीं है, पहले भी हुआ है, चाहे हुआ 2004 में आप देख लीजिए, वाजपेयी जी ऐसे फेस सामने था, उसके बाद जो है सो कोई उनके खिलाफ में वैसा फेस नहीं था, लेकिन भाजपा को हारना पड़ा। आप देख लीजिए 77 में देख लीजिए, इंदिरा जी के फेस के सामने कोई नहीं था। तो विपक्ष में तो बहुत से चेहरे हैं जो मोदी से फार बेटर प्राइम मिनिस्टर साबित हो सकते हैं, एक दो नहीं दर्जनों ऐसे लीडर हैं गैर भाजपा दलों में, ये नरेंद्र मोदी के बनिस्पत तुलना में फार बेटर प्रधानमंत्री साबित हो सकते हैं। तो सवाल यह है कि उनके पास कोई मुद्दा नहीं, उनके पास कोई मुद्दा नहीं है। जो
एक अंतिम प्रश्न मेरा आपसे कि उनके पास कोई मुद्दा नहीं है और विपक्ष के पास क्या मुद्दा है? पॉलिटिकल नैरेटिव जिसको बोलते हैं, या मुद्दों को सेट करना, देश के सामने रखना, अपनी बात पर सरकार से जवाब लेना, विपक्ष इस पूरे लिहाज में कहीं ना कहीं फेल हुआ है। पॉलिटिकल नैरेटिव इस देश में आज की डेट में बीजेपी सेट कर रही है, और उस पॉलिटिकल नैरेटिव का आप एक रिएक्शन जरूर दे रहे हैं, लेकिन आप उसको क्रिएट नहीं कर पा रहे।
नहीं, देखिए, वह जो है सो जनता समझ रही है और जनता आगे है। आप जो है सो पार्लियामेंट में डिबेट नहीं करवा रहे हैं, पार्लियामेंट में किसी को बोलने नहीं दे रहे हैं, विपक्ष में कोई कहीं बोलता है, पत्रकार बोलता है, उसको आप अंदर डाल दे, उस पर केस कर देते हैं, कोई गाना गाता है आपके खिलाफ में तो उस पर नोटिस हो जाता है। तो जनता जो है सो वह इन सारे चीजों को समझ रही है,
जनता इन सारी चीजों को समझ रही है। और प्रोफेसर साहब का मानना है कि बहुत सारे ऐसे चेहरे विपक्ष में भी हैं जो विकल्प बन सकते हैं। शहजाद, a quick response from you and Manojit, and then I'll go to the
Again, I reiterate, in the entire debate, I have not asked them who their leader is at all. But one of the issues which RJD flag की गलत इस्तेमाल हो रहा है एजेंसीज का, मैं उसी पर बताता हूँ। कांग्रेस पार्टी का ये पोस्टर है जो उन्होंने दिल्ली में लगाया, जिसमें सत्येंद्र जैन, मनीष सिसोदिया जेल के पीछे दिखाया गया। इंडियन एक्सप्रेस ने इसको छापा है। They have welcomed the action on Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain, saying ये 100% सही है. Now Mahima Singh has to determine whether the action on Satyendra Jain and Sisodia is correct, and Jasmine has to tell us in his turn whether Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi are bastions of integrity, because in 2013, 2012 they used to come out every day with charge sheet against the UPA Congress leaders and including Vadra, etc. Are they all now non-corrupt and suddenly they have become bastions of honesty? Second point, look, all 14 parties went on this particular issue to Supreme Court, saying that they are misusing the agencies against us. What did the Supreme Court do to them? And thirdly, as far as democracy being silenced, अरे जिस पार्टी में मीसा जी का नाम मीसा कानून के खिलाफ रखा गया था, उस पार्टी का ये कहना, अरे एक ही बार डेमोक्रेसी को साइलेंस किया गया 1975 में, और आज भी अगर कोई एक कार्टून बनाने के लिए किसी को 10 साल तक कोर्ट के चक्कर लगाता है तो वो टीएमसी की सरकार में हो रहा है, जहां पर रूल ऑफ लॉ नहीं, लॉ ऑफ द रूलर बताया गया है। किस प्रकार से वहां पर पोस्ट पोल वायलेंस हुआ और किस प्रकार से वहां पर अत्याचार हो रहा है और किस प्रकार से वहां पर डेमोक्रेसी की आवाज को साइलेंस किया जा रहा है, ये तो अधीर रंजन दादा बताते रहते हैं, हम नहीं बताते, अधीर दादा बताते हैं कि वहां पर कांग्रेस कार्यकर्ताओं के साथ क्या क्या हो रहा है। तो आप लोग अपना मामला सेटल कर लीजिए, आम आदमी पार्टी दिल्ली कांग्रेस के साथ सेटल करे, अधीर रंजन जी ममता दीदी के साथ सेटल करे, जेडीयू आरजेडी के साथ सेटल करे।
Professor Manojit Mandal, and then I want to bring in the Aam Aadmi Party into the discussion.
The way he's addressing Adhir Dada, it seems that you have got some connection.
Why you don't like Adhir Dada? You don't? I call Mamta also Didi.
No,
I call her Didi, I call him Dada, but is he not worth calling Dada?
अच्छा
You
इन
tell
सब
Congress.
इन सब बातों से आगे बढ़ते हैं मनोज
You are
जी
bringing Adit to justify something that hasn't happened.
Is-
that
is
hasn't
Adit
proven in
Dada
the-
an
hasn't
agent
been
of
proven in the
BJP
court of
according
law.
to you?
Arey, can I speak? This is what we want
I
to
call
fight.
you also Dada.
You do not let others speak.
Okay,
This
speak.
is democracy for you.
Okay,
Even
Mona
inside the TV studio, our voices are muzzled.
all right let's come to
What
the
is
core
the-
issue let's come to the core
facts
issue
remain that
yeah
you don't want to see the issues.
Okay.
My dear friend,
What
the
is
issues are in plenty, starting from price rise, LIC, banks, market, interest, what's not. All the promises made by the BR, then forget about the cronyism, the crony capitalism that we have brought in right now. When you actually twist or reorient a particular government policy to benefit a corporate sector, like what you did in 2019 by divesting LIC, and now that benefit is being enjoyed by one particular company by the name of Adani. This is cronyism, not what is happening in Rajasthan or what is happening in
Okay.
Bengal, because Adani has come in here. If they have come with the tendering process, right process,
Monojita,
that's
I've heard
fine.
you.
But what you have
Shehzad,
tweaking the
I want to bring in Aam
government
Aadmi
policy,
Party
the
also into the
government
discussion, then I'll bring you
benefit
again.
a
Jasmine
particular
Shah,
company.
Jasmine Shah,
That is
Jasmine
what we
Shah,
want to
Jasmine
fight.
Shah. There's a poster, and not just that poster. When Satyendra Jain, Manish Sisodia, that action was taken by CBI and ED, Congress was one of the first parties that supported that action. I don't have to quote you instances. You're well aware on the multiple occasions when the Congress party has supported action against the Aam Aadmi Party. When we talk about the grand unity of the opposition parties, do you see the Aam Aadmi Party play a role in it? Under any scenario, will you accept the leadership of the Congress party?
Anusha, first of all, I hope you'll allow me to speak for some time, because I very patiently listened to the tutu meme that's been going on this show. First and foremost, let me come to Congress, because you asked that question. You're right that the behavior of Congress over the recent many years when the AAP has been in power in Delhi has been unbecoming of the Congress of yesteryears. You would expect that there is first some amount of moral leadership for any large party that has a rich history and legacy like the Congress. But the way that the Congress has behaved in Delhi, every time agencies have been unleashed on our Congress is equally standing besides BJP and cheering them on. Not just that, new complaints are being written by the Congress to the LG based on which investigations are being launched. I can see Shehzad smiling because he would happily chat about Congress fighting AAP fighting ABCD, Team Trinamool fighting this. The question, however, is not even that. The question today is, are all opposition parties under whatever framework willing to work together not to defeat BJP but to save the democratic foundation of India? Because that is what is under threat and that is what is the most dangerous. Never in the history of India has the parliament been stopped by a party in power. And for what purpose? To save your one friend Adani and to save any kind of an embarrassment or even a debate from happening. Forget about JPC. You are saying you will not allow JPC. But आप debate नहीं होने दे रहे हैं, पूरे parliament पे आपने ताला लगा दिया. That means that you have something to hide. In the last 7 or 8 years, you look at the economy of the country, the debt of the country has tripled, from 50 lakh crores that we accumulated in the first 65 years of our independence. In the last 9 to 10 years, we've accumulated 100 lakh crores over that. Today, we have 150 lakh crores. You see the price rise that has happened. LPG cylinders ke daam dekh lijaiye.
You were right that you patiently listened to the points of all the panelists, and that is why I've heard what you've said. But you've not answered my question. I asked you a question that is there any circumstance and scenario under which a party like the Aam Aadmi Party, which came to power on the plank of anti-corruption and defeated the Congress, took their vote bank in a great way, will ever accept the leadership of the Congress party at the union level? You've not answered that question.
No, and because I don't think at this moment either the Congress is projecting itself as a leader or AAP is trying to work anything with the Congress. See, over the coming months as we approach closer to elections, let's see if there is some kind of a common framework that emerges or not. But at the moment, what the people of the country will have to agree upon is that it is important to stop democracy from being demolished. We cannot have one party rule like there is in China, because that is what the BJP wants. By unleashing ED, CBI on all opposition parties, by abusing the office of lieutenant governor and governors to ensure that even once you win as an opposition party, your government.
Mahima, one thing is very clear as I speak to different opposition leaders. I'll come to you, Shehzad, just a second. As I speak to various opposition leaders, that when it comes to the leadership issue, Everybody is wanting to duck that question. There is no answer on the leadership bit.
Nobody is ducking the
Maimaji, please go ahead.
Before I come to answer your question, I must say, Anusha, that I've been raising my hand for quite some time.
I'm
and
sorry,
as
I must have missed it, Maimaji. It wasn't.
As a BJP spokesperson, went on bragging about the before and after of the others. Let me just remind him how Mr. Narendra Modi was, virulently opposing the GST before 2014, and thereafter we have seen what has followed, and in a manner of lack of policy. And apart from that, he was talking about other labels. Let me just say that the first manipulated media tag that was given by the Twitter was to Amit Malviya, their spokesperson. And apart from that, he was talking about corruption, about the others. We have just seen 2 days ago Mr. Satyapal Malik, play out the cards. And how has he talked about the 300 crore rupees scam, where Ram Madhav, RSS, BJP, Mr. Narendra Modi have been named all together. And we've held a press conference and we have diverged details about that. Now, coming to your question, Anusha, I would say that, difference of opinion is the characteristic trait of the democracy, and the Congress party has always stood to protect it, stood guard to it. Had it not been the case, the BJP's existence would be quite questionable, because you know where they stood in 70s and 80s and before that, and how the Congress has ever ever protected the voice of opposition in the parliament.
My last question to you before I have closing comments from the BJP also. Maimaji, do you concede that there is a leadership crisis within the opposition ranks?
Not at all. As I said, that the election is to be contested on the issues, on the unprecedented lows in unemployment, inflation, on the Adani scam, on the questions that the BJP owes answers to the people of this country. Lakhs of crores of your and my money have gone into the drain into Adani scam, and no answers from the BJP. Budget worth 45 lakh crore rupees can be passed just like that without a discussion in the parliament.
Shehzad, it is true and it is clear with this discussion that there is no coherent leadership. At least that answer is not present at this point in time. But all of them seem to be united on this point that corruption is a core issue. Adani issue is resonating repeatedly from all political parties, and quote unquote democracy is dead. That's the narrative that they want to take to town.
Now let me address the hollowness of each of these claims. I did not, an entire show I have not even asked them once who is your combined leader. I have only gone on issues. The issues that Jasmine flagged, all of these issues, now please don't interrupt, all of these issues were raised together by them in the last set of elections which took place in the Northeast, where there is a majority of minority population and tribal population. And if they had so much confluence on issues, why didn't TMC, left and Congress contest together in Tripura or in Meghalaya? No,
Manojit Da, please let him finish. Please let him
There's
finish.
4 versus 1. Have some mercy.
Yes.
In fact, in Tripura, TMC के साथ क्या हुआ बताना भी नहीं चाहता हूँ. दूसरी बात, I am saying forget that also. Today, I am saying, tell me one issue on which you all have consonance. Let's say issue of 370. Ask the Aam Aadmi Party, do they want 370 returned? Does the Congress Party, because they have said it on record, Digvijay Singh has said we will restore 370, and ask TMC, do they have a common stand on a fundamental issue like Article 370? They don't. On corruption, let's take the example of corruption. On corruption issue, the courts have denied relief to Satendra Jain, Manish Sisodia, including today, Manish Sisodia has not got relief. Is the Congress Party then saying that Mr. Manish Sisodia is not corrupt and is being hounded by the courts? Let the Congress Party say it. And let the Aam Aadmi Party, which started off by India against corruption, today say that we stand with those who are indulging in National Herald scam. They must say it. They must say it. They must take a stand on these issues. As simple as that.
A quick response from the TMC.
Last point.
Yes, finish.
Lalu Prasad has been convicted 4 times by a court of law. Can Aam Aadmi Party say Lalu Prasad is not corrupt?
A quick response from the TMC. Yes.
How did he win election in Bengal? Because of those issues. Because of these issues, you have been trounced by the people of Bengal. What are you saying?
We came from 2 to 17.
One at a time. I'm short of time. I have to give last one.
And you are asking about 370. Our stated position is that on internal security and foreign issues, we are largely with the government.
What does this issue stand? You want it restored like Congress?
And who said that?
Congress Digvijay Singh said it to a Pakistani journalist. We will restore 370.
Perhaps were not in BJP at that point of time. They did not
Understood,
I was
Mamta's
very much, it was
statement in
revoked in 2019.
So you please go to the archive and
All right,
and
let's
see the
not
message
get
from
personal here.
Mamta
One
ji.
thing is
So
abundantly
don't try
clear that when it
don't
comes
try
to the
distort
opposition
The
narrative,
issues are very real.
there are dozens
Not
of issues
370
that
only.
need to be sorted out and ironed out between the opposition parties. Can they find a common ground to take on the BJP? That's the million-dollar question. And I have to give last 1 minute to Mahima ji. She's been trying to make a point. Mahima ji, a quick response from you, and then I'll close the debate.
I wanted to say, Anusha, that the BJP spokesperson, has been talking about the opposition unity and about the Northeast. He's just talked about. Let me say that in Northeast, all the states, BJP's vote share has gone down, and they fail to admit it. In Himachal Pradesh, we have defeated them on issues. And let me just ask.
So democracy is not dead.
So
democracy is alive, right? So democracy is alive. Thank you. Thank you, Mahima. I thank you for your honesty.
And when is the BJP initiating action on Mr. Ram
In
Madhav?
Himachal is democracy dead?
From Jammu and Kashmir, when the 370 was abrogated, Mr. Satyapal Malik has raised questions worth, corruption worth rupees 300 crores. When is the BJP initiating
Well, Mahima ji,
action
whether
against
it's the Adani issue or quote-unquote democracy is dead, you need to take this narrative to the people and convince them of this. Let's see whether that narrative resonates with the people of India, whether it sticks in the run-up to 2024. I thank all my guests for joining us on that broadcast and also this important discussion about the opposition unity in the run-up to 2024. While shifting our focus to another important story of the day, a slew of developments have taken place after the BJP released its first list ahead of Karnataka Assembly election. With 52 new faces on the list, multiple veterans of the saffron camp are up in arms over being denied a ticket. Former Deputy Chief Minister Lakshman Sewadi has threatened a rebellion after being denied a ticket from his constituency. You also have Chief Minister Bommai, who has requested him not to take any drastic step as he rallies supporters against the BJP High Command. Moreover, Karnataka BJP veteran Ishwarappa, he took a preemptive step to bow out of the elections and he said, I am announcing my retirement. I will not be a part of electoral politics. That's not all. BJP MLC R. Shankar, he tendered resignation after being denied a ticket, while more than 1,200 BJP workers quit after senior leader N.R. Ramesh was missing from the first list. Meanwhile, former Karnataka Chief Minister Shettar has maintained that he is keen on contesting the polls. In a bid to diffuse the crisis, Chief Minister Bommai has said that consensus will be achieved very soon, adding that there will be opportunities for leaders who have been replaced down the line. The BJP is gambling big to retain the power in the state, effectively giving voters a clean slate. However, will the rebellions hurt the party's election offensive, or can the top brass diffuse the crisis before it's too late? Our focus.
Many are asking me to resign as party member and follow what the people of my constituency are saying. Their first demand is to resign from party membership and also as Vidhan Parishad member.
The party has been vertically divided. It is the end of the beginning of the end, and it is going to collapse.
99% Jagdish Shettar ji will be given ticket. He is in Delhi only. Most probably that name will be cleared in Hubli city.
And some latest news coming in. Former Karnataka Chief Minister Jagdish Shettar meets BJP Chief JP Nadda after not making it to the first list. This is what he had to say, playing out that reaction.
I met National President JP Nadda ji and I explained everything about my constituency, and I expressed that I am going to contest being as a senior leader and ex-chief minister. I expressed my view that I am going to contest election, and last 6 consecutive election I got elected. So give me another opportunity, and everything is explained, and accordingly he expressed that he is going to discuss with other leaders and will come to the conclusion.
My colleague Harish Upadhyay tracking the pulse of Karnataka politics and telling us what is likely to happen. Harish, one rebellion after another. This one is a serious trouble. How will the BJP diffuse this crisis?
Well, especially with Jagdish Shettar, looks like the party is... in fact, in the afternoon, you had B.S. Yediyurappa saying that we will give a ticket to Jagdish Shettar. Now, when it comes to Lakshman Saudi, we do understand the BJP has started having discussions with him. Will Lakshman Saudi be pacified? Because already a ticket has been declared to Mahesh Munkali from Atani with the close aid of Manish Gajroli, the man who helped the BJP. The man who helped the BJP ensure 17 people switch over from Congress and JDS and form that government in 2019. He's saying that he won't contest if his close aid is not given a ticket. So the BJP has yielded to it. Will it go back on that issue? That's something that we'll have to see. Apart from that, more problematic for the BJP is the fact that at multiple places, grassroots workers are unhappy with this decision. We've seen hundreds of workers from Chamrajpet today barging into the BJP headquarters, state headquarters here in Bengaluru, and expressing their displeasure over former Commissioner Bhaskar Rao being given a ticket from Chamrajpet. Similarly, we've seen scenes repeating in multiple places, and the BJP will have to ensure that all this is pacified, and also in places like Ranebennur, where R. Shankar is contesting as an independent, they minimize the damage somehow.
They minimize the damage somehow. 52 new faces, that's what BJP is looking at. This was likely to irk a lot of the old leaders within the party. When it comes to the likes of Jagdish Shettar or Lakshman Sawadee, is the party willing to reach out to them?
Well, at least in Jagdish Shettar's case, the party has reached out to him. In other cases, not much. You take the example of S. Angara, the Minister for Fisheries from Karnataka, SC face from coastal Karnataka. Nobody has reached out to him. He's in fact declared retirement from politics, and he said the party can ensure the victory of their candidate. I am not campaigning here. In other places as well, many leaders have taken this decision of the party, but they're not happy with it. They perhaps won't campaign for the party like they would do in any other election, and that might hit BJP's chances in these seats.
Harish, thank you so much for getting us all the details and decoding the political developments. Joining us on the broadcast is Madhu N. Rao, the Karnataka BJP spokesperson. Bhavya Narasimhan Murthy from the Karnataka Congress Party is also with us on the broadcast. Mudera Hemkumar from the JDS is joining us on the show. Good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for your time. Let me begin with Madhu N. Rao. Madhu, there's a lot of problems after the first list has been put out. Jagdish Shettar, Lakshman Sawadee, Ishwarappa of course said he is not going to be a part of the electoral politics. But rebellion seems to be the norm of the day. Will the party be able to take care of these concerns, or this is an explosion of sorts that we are witnessing within the Karnataka BJP?
Well, good evening in the first place.
Good evening.
I think I wouldn't say it is problem. I think it is the hiccups, what we could say, the initial hiccups. I mean, in any electoral politics, whenever the tickets are out, I think the sort of instant reactions are common. Having said so, the only intention perhaps, we have the only intention perhaps of the top brass of the BJP, perhaps, wanted to bring in the new faces, wanted to give in a lot of opportunities to the new persons from very life, for example, from doctors to PhDs and all, which we have given. Now, having done so, somewhere I thought the party has decided to give tickets to those persons who perhaps are having young blood, should be represented, given adequate representation. Now, having said so, with regard to you're mentioning about Mr. Jagdish Shettar, or for that matter, even for that matter, Saudi, Mr. Saudi, I think perhaps it is an initial hiccup. I'm sure it's going to be reconciled.
Is this about giving opportunities to the young blood, or this is a realization within the BJP that there is a very strong anti-incumbency, and perhaps the sitting MLCs are not going to win, and hence you're bringing in these new faces?
I think anti-incumbency, if it were to be a scenario, or if it were to be a issue, then perhaps most of the opinion polls would have not given the as many number of seats what we are having now. So therefore, to say that it's because of anti-incumbency and therefore we are giving to the new faces, it is not this case. In fact, I must say, we are having a proper representation, perhaps even after the reservation issue. We have ensured there is a information. For example, we have had so many persons who have been given tickets, new faces, 52 faces. Women are there, 8 people. Doctors, 5 people. So therefore, something much greater was perhaps maybe for the top brass people. So I think even the reactions of Mr. Shetter, or for that matter, even Saudi, I think they are only initial hiccups. They are still our leaders. Mr. Saudi has been a MLC even after losing. In fact, I must say, even after losing the MLA seat, he was made an MLC and of course made a DCM. So therefore, our party has given adequate representation and will be giving representation to everyone for that matter. Even with regard to Jagdish Shettar,
Bhavya, coming to the discussion, and tell us about...
And a 6-time MLA. So therefore, sidelining anyone of that stature is not, as of it is made, it is not the case. And as of now, he has met our President, Mr. JP Nadda, and I think things will be in place.
Things would be in place. That's what you're hoping. Let's see how that turns out, because the Congress party must be smiling seeing all these developments. Bhavya, a lot of turncoats from the BJP. Will they be welcomed in the Congress party?
Totally, I would like to start by saying allotment of tickets, or, whom they choose to give the tickets to, it's totally their internal matter. But like you said, the main reason for such drastic decisions BJP is taking is because of the anti-incumbency wave. Because of 3 reasons. One, there's scams, like take anything starting from corona maintenance to a public employment, PSI scam to 40% commission scam. Any project, 40% to 60% needs to go to the ministers. And, like openly people have come, the contractors have come and complained against it. And the third reason would be underperformance of this government and zero development in the state during their tenure. These are the main reasons. There is a huge anti-incumbency wave. You go on streets, you survey, you get to know Congress has, the people remember the Congress administration before this, and they're like, we need those days back. That's what the Karnataka people are saying today. And that is one of the reasons there have been, this kind of drastic situation has come up. They're taking such drastic decisions of removing, some of the topmost leaders of BJP and even shifting their...
Mr. Hemkumar, I want to come to you and taking a view from what is happening within the BJP. And I also want to talk to you about the Hassan seat and the tough war within the family which is going on right now. If all is well within the JDS, then why is this particular seat, this particular ticket is being contested from within the family members?
Okay, the seat has not been yet decided by the party supremo. Wait for this decision and then we'll go further on this. And I want to speak about the BJP list that was decided yesterday. That's about the BJP High Command are planning to finish off the main pillars of the BJP state leaders. It's like they have finished the career of Mr. Yediyurappa. They have finished the career of former MLA and Minister Suresh Kumar, likewise Sadananda Gowda. Now they are into Ishwarappa and then Jagdish Shettar and Lakshman Saudi. These are all the pillars when we used to watch BJP taking a nice path in Karnataka. These were all the leaders who took in charge, and they made sure that they were doing something better than the other states. Now, if the party supremo have decided to finish off all the pillars of Karnataka state, that's because it's like finishing off all the mass leaders of Karnataka. And then they want one particular MLA to be the chief minister. So
Mr. Hemkumar, I was speaking to certain journalists who track the politics from the ground, and they pointed out to some veteran journalists, and they pointed out that JDS has this habit of reworking their list and including a lot of miffed people from the Congress or the BJP who have been left out. Will that be the strategy of the JDS once again?
Actually, see what is happening till now. BJP were hijacking people from, the MLS of BJP, JDS as well as Congress. And we have yet to decide about the seats for other constituencies as well. So we will wait for such, few hours or maybe a couple of days, and we'll come up with a list. I'm not sure, I cannot tell you whether we are including certain people from Congress or the BJP for now. So we'll have to wait for the party supremo to decide on this.
All right, Madhu, a quick point from you. You were raising your hand. Please go ahead.
I think in comparison to the Congress list or the JDS list, let me tell you this. I think we have a consultative process. We have a deliberative process. Based on deliberations and the consultative process, we have come to a decision. And yes, in the due course, perhaps a few might have been unhappy, and we'll take care of it. Now, my friend Bhavya was talking about the corruption, other issues. I just want to say this. I think the Congress toolkit seems to have not been working well, because the corruption aspect, they have not been able to prove anywhere, neither in the court of the law nor before the court of the people. So therefore, none of the citizens have come and complained against
But Madhu,
any of the corruption.
I want to come back to the point of deliberations and how these are only initial hiccups. Just one point, and I'll give you the opportunity to respond. BJP is also a party which is known for a strict party discipline. If there are differences of opinion, then there is a proper platform to raise those issues. And the Congress party, in fact, is often accused of having their problems out in the public domain and creating a scene out of it. Why is the BJP suddenly witnessing problems which are not characteristic of it, at least in the last 8 years?
As I told you, they are all initial hiccups. Perhaps they must have had aspirations of becoming MLA again.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Perhaps the party must have thought a higher excellence for the Jagdish Shettar, or for that matter, even the Saudi. So now what I'm telling you is simple. Now, as of today, Mr. Jagdish Shettar is in talks with Mr. JP Nadda. So rest be it. So let us come to, let's see what happens. But as of today, I think everything will be settled and, of course, will be talked about. Now, having said so, I just wanted to talk about the other, our JDS spokesperson was talking about, in comparison to our list and also the JDS as well as the Congress list, kindly see how the consultative process has taken place. None of the family members have, but if we have come down, in fact, if you compare the 2018 list to the 2023 list, I think much of the family members have not been given.
Madhuji, only time is going to tell whether these differences can be resolved and whether this is just an initial hiccup. I'm short of time. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. Madhu and Rao, Bhavya Narasimhan Murthy and Mudira Hemkumar. Thank you all for joining us on the discussion. And another important story that came from the state of West Bengal. A panel appointed by the Ministry of Education has found that West Bengal administration over-reported the serving of about 16 crore midday meals, with over 100 crore from April to September last year. That's the sum of money that we're looking at. Now, the Ministry of Education initiated a review of the implementation of Pradhan Mantri Poshan scheme in West Bengal following complaints of irregularities. Now, according to the first and the second quarterly progress reports, 140 crore meals were served under the scheme from April to September 2022. As per the reports submitted by the districts to the state government, this is an audit of sorts, the number of meals served was just about 124 crore. Now, the BJP has accused the TMC government of corruption. TMC has termed the panel report a politically motivated one, saying that there is no substance to all these claims. Telling us more about this report and what lies ahead, what is the kind of action that perhaps can be taken, Dr. Subhas Sarkar, the MOS of Education, is joining us on the broadcast. Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for speaking with us. These are some very serious allegations that the report has put out in the public domain. What is the basis on which the report is making these scathing observations?
Yes, this is the fact. The fact itself, their reports states that the report which has been saying from the district to the state that is around 124.22 crore number of meals.
Yeah.
But state government is sending the report to the center is 140 crores. 140.25 crore. That means it is more than 16 crores. This excess 16 crores midday meals price is more than 100 crores. And it is within the time frame of 2 quarters. That means half of the year, only on the ground of this midday meal, it's 100 crore at the state level. And if we consider in other sphere, that is what is being happened in the schools. If you ask that, I can also tell you. And what is happening in the school there.
So I want to understand from you what TMC is saying. TMC has called this report entirely political. They are saying this is a political vendetta of sorts. There is no substance to the claims which are being made. In fact, they say that the money which is dispersed, it's in coordination with the state government. There's a certain portion that the state government also makes. And all these figures are being put out in the public domain without any ample evidence. They have rubbished this and called this a gimmick of the BJP in the run-up to the Panchayat polls.
They cannot tell this argument because it is a documented evidence. And within this team, they have their representative, their officers, and the project head, let's say, Shamagara Shiksha project head accompanied in the team, number one. Right. Number two, whenever they have attended to any school, everywhere in ADM, district, from district administration, ADM, from block, BDO, and at the same time BRC, other than school headmaster and the in charge of the midday. And documented evidence is within their paper. That's a report of the district from to the state, and team has only some of the records.
Okay.
The sum of the records, there is a discrepancy between the sum of the records and the records sent by the state to the center. How they can tell it? This is a lie.
Okay, you're basically saying that this entire political vendetta argument doesn't hold, and there are documents which back the claims which are being made in this report. Will this affect the disbursement of the funds which is done by the central government? Is there any sort of inquiry that the central government is going to initiate? What is the action that you might want to take on this?
One thing, whenever regarding the assessment of consumption of meat, state has given the report that 95% of the boys and girls have achieved this meal. But during the visit, it has been observed in school, 60 to 85% boys and girls are present in the schools. What is the rest amount? And the result is also have been cleared by the health parameter, assessment of the parameter.
All right, so we hope that there is a proper inquiry into this, and if there are any malpractices which are happening, it is addressed by the state government, and in this politics is not lost the larger question of nutrition to children and midday meals. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition. Thank you so much for watching.
Chennai and Bengaluru, and they largely smuggled from South Africa.
Agencies have now come across a trend wherein some of these drugs, which are a part of the larger drug cartel, are in fact sold online. Some of these which are sold online include hydroponic ganja, imported ganja, ecstasy, and designer drugs, which also includes a like of black cocaine. What really do these drug peddlers do with these designer drugs? They change the chemical component of these drugs so that they cannot be bought under the scanner and can be easily smuggled across various platforms, be it the air platform, that is at the airports, or for that matter in ship, where these smuggling activities are in fact on radar by the agencies. Apart from that, when it comes to these designer drugs, they are now in fact also sold on darknet so that they cannot be bought under the radar of agencies. Some of these platforms, some of these darknet platforms as well as drugs, are a major challenge for the agencies, and going further could be a new trend in the larger drug market.
Black cocaine is also sold on Telegram and Instagram. Suppliers are paid in Bitcoin on these platforms so as to not leave behind traces of transactions.
The reason being why the people prefer darknet is that your computer has a unique IP address which can be tracked or traced, and the investigating agencies or law and enforcement agencies can reach you with this IP address. But when you are using the dark web or darknet for surfing or buying certain things online, your IP address is masked, or so if at all somebody wants to trace you, it's very impossible, next to impossible. And the payment that takes place is through Bitcoins, where there is no bank statement or the transaction ID or unique transaction ID which can reflect into a bank or onto your mobile phone, which can have some traceability or trackability.
The NCB busted a big cartel related to black cocaine in Goa during Christmas last year. Now, they've added 2 dogs to their team to ensure timely detection.
We had information that some passengers are bringing some cocaine or some contraband from Latin American countries. So we put a surveillance and we come across some suspicious individuals. Among that, one lady we zeroed it down. And after questioning her, we found some suspicious black colored substance into her bag. So the substance was new to us. When we examined that carefully, we found that it was not, the sniffers were not able to sniff it, and it was not visible in the scanning also. Then we got more suspicious. We found later on, she confessed that is a black cocaine.
But experts say such drugs could easily evade these authorities.
If you bring this cocaine in a proper form, so it can be detected. But they have taken another route and they have make the mixtures with the pure cocaine, with the charcoal, with the cobalt salt, with the iron salt, and they mix accordingly and they prepare the color of this original cocaine is white. And if you mix with this charcoal and all that, it becomes black. And it is very difficult for the sniffer dogs to find it out.
Some of these designer drugs have been around in countries like the US for more than a decade. But the trend is only catching on in India now.
CNN News 18's Yasha Kotak, who got us this exclusive report on black cocaine, is joining us. Yasha, can you give us more details about black cocaine and how it is being smuggled?
So like we rightly understood from the story, that black cocaine in fact is a component wherein the chemical substance are changed. So basically, while the cocaine is white, the chemical component is changed so that once the chemical component is changed, it cannot be detected in scanners. Apart from that, because of the chemical component is changed, the smell for this particular product also changes, which is where we see that the sniffer dogs also cannot really sniff it, did not get the smell of it, which is why it becomes easy to smuggle this. Now, this is being smuggled from Latin American countries, but apart from that, from Africa as well. And right now, what we see is from NCB, we've understood that there is a unique modus operandi, particularly for this, so that it goes undetected. What is being done is that female peddlers are being used. Female peddlers, in fact, are using the code word of sanitary napkin when someone wants to purchase it, and which is where we see that in this case, because females are being used, the code word is sanitary napkin, and the whole component is changed. Because the component is changed, there's no detection, which makes it easier for peddlers to smuggle this. Now, the main route that is being used to smuggle this is ideally the air route or the sea route. It's not ideally be coming in from the land route. Through air route, it's easier because what we see is that mostly the cities which are under the scanner include Goa and Mumbai. Particularly in the festival season is where we see that this particular duck is quite in demand. It's an expensive duck also, because what we see is that for 1 gram, the rate is approximately anywhere between 28,000 to 30,000. So which is where
Do you remember the events that defined us in the last 50 weeks?
Wow, 50 weeks. We saw power shifts.
There were triumphs. We weathered storms.
The very earth shook right under our feet.
We saw new worlds.
And the birth of a new intelligence. But we never let our
eye waver.
We brought you the news that mattered.
Your trust has made us
India's #1 news channel
for 50
straight weeks.
And we're only getting started.
CNN News 18.
Sensible.
Credible. Always.
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan. Ladies and gentlemen, we begin this edition of The Right Stand with a call to all of us as citizens of this country to take the right stand. Take the right stand in the fight against drugs, the fight against narcotics, the fight against perhaps the biggest bane that is going to totally destroy the present generation and, of course, our future. And tonight, we bring you a mega CNN News 18 exclusive here on The Right Stand. It all started when a Bolivian woman was stopped by the NCB, or the Narcotics Control Bureau, in Mumbai in September last year with at least 3.2 kilograms of high-grade black cocaine worth 13 crore rupees. Now, according to reports, her suitcase was